What's going on? Thanks for checking in. Today I'm going to show you how here at SummersMethod Performance Center we're able to build the strongest baseball and softball players on the planet. Make sure you stay tuned. Check this one out. All right, so when we're talking building strength, to be completely honest with you, there's really one way to do that. I know, with the social media thing, you scroll through Instagram, YouTube, etc., see all these wacky different drills that you're adding into your training, right? However, the foundation of building strength we've known for hundreds of years, and the simple theory is progressive overload. Progressive overload is a fundamental principle of weight training that involves gradually increasing the demand placed on your muscles. In order to continue making progress over time, this can be achieved by gradually increasing the weight, reps, sets, and frequency of your workouts. So in practical terms, progressive overload is simply adding more weight to the bar week after week after week. So it's doing the little boring thing over and over and over again, forcing adaptation. So the biggest thing, the biggest mistake that anybody can do in strength training is not following a specific program. That's guaranteeing you that you're not going to get stronger. So picture a back squat, right? You do a back squat by a certain amount of reps one week, right, with a certain weight, and then the next week you gradually increase the weight at that same rep scheme. Then the next week you gradually increase the weight. So you're doing the same thing over and over again, just bumping up the weight on the bar, forcing that adaptation in strength. So really, progressive overload is the foundation of any good strength and conditioning program. Here, we can plug and play it with any program we choose. And what I do with my baseball and softball players that we've been seeing real success with is Cal Dietz triphasic training. And the goal of Cal Dietz triphasic training is to build maximal force and strength through 3 foundational phases, which is the eccentric phase, isometric phase, and concentric phase. And this is one of the best programs put together for, power athletes such as baseball and softball players. The eccentric phase of triphasic training emphasizes the use of heavy loads at slow tempos to develop the eccentric strength, which is the ability to resist gravity and decelerate a load. Eccentric training is sort of a shortcut or hack to maximal strength because you can lower a lot more weight than you can concentrically lift. So that is forcing that heavy stimuli, that's forcing the muscles to adapt to that heavier load. The isometric phase involves holding a position such as at the bottom of a squat or split squat or deadlift to develop that isometric strength. This is the ability to maintain that tension in a muscle without any joint movement. So within isometrics, that's just further laying that foundation after that eccentric phase. And isometrics is one of the best things you could possibly do to build up that tendon to muscle junction. That's where 90% of injuries happen on athletes, is at that junction. So holding those isometric positions is going to target and build that stability throughout that junction. And then finally, after we build that eccentric phase, that isometric phase, we can move on to the concentric phase where we're starting to produce real force here. So this would be your regular weightlifting, at regular schemes, just trying to lower, controlled, and then explode up. This concentric phase is that final cherry on top that's going to boost your strength through the roof. So overall, I found that this triphasic training protocol is one of the best things a baseball and softball player can do to not only build that strength, but it can decrease the risk of injury and build power as well. So we're gonna hop over on the whiteboard and I'm gonna show you a simple way to plug progressive overload into that triphasic training model. All right, picture this as a 6 to 8 week protocol to build the strongest athlete you could possibly build. This is the same structure that I lay with every athlete that walks through this door. So check it out. This would be your daily split. So this is a blueprint. Hey, you could take a screen grab of this and then write your programs based off this. This is a perfect everyday split for a baseball, softball player, right? So number 1, you do your dynamic warm-up, whatever it may be. 2 is hit the movement prep, right? 3 would be your nervous system primer. And then 4 would be your power, okay? And then 5th is strength. This is where progressive overload is going to come into play, and then this is where we're going to hit our triphasic training to build absolute strength, right? Strength block, we're building that absolute, we're building that relative strength. So this is what we're going to focus on here. So throughout this strength block, what we're going to do is rotate or undulate different variations of exercises. So a Monday, right, we may do a split squat. A Tuesday, we may do a heavier bench press. Wednesday is typically my off day. And then Thursday, we'll come back and do a double leg or bilateral squat or deadlift, right? And then on Friday, we'll do some sort of vertical press. So you're hitting everything you need full body throughout the week. So within those movements, we'll do different variations, right? However, the progressive overload is gonna stay the same. So we'll picture a split squat throughout this timeline here. So think of a split squat. On weeks 1 and 2, right? So 2 weeks, we're gonna do an eccentric phase with that split squat. Safe bet, we'll do 5 sets of 5 reps for our strength block at a split squat. But it's eccentric, so we'll lower slow at a 5-second tempo. So the athletes hate this, right, with split squats, but we're laying that foundation. So 5 sets of 5 reps, 5 seconds nice and slow on the way down. Then after that 2 weeks, weeks 3 and 4, we're gonna do an isometric hold. So I like overcoming isometrics for this phase. So we're gonna set the pins up and we're gonna press into an immovable object. Here, we're gonna do 5 sets of 5 as well, and moving into that object at 5 seconds. So 5 by 5, 5-second overcoming isometric. Then after that, we're gonna go on to a concentric. So concentric would just be, think of regular weightlifting. So we'll hit the split squat for 5 sets of 5 reps, just nice fluid movements, right? Just regular lifting. But within those 2-week spans, that 5 by 5, you're gonna add weight to the bar each time. So say you start with 225 on the split squat. You're lowering nice and slow for that 5 by 5 first week. The next week, you're gonna add more weight to the bar, right? Then you're gonna go ahead and hit the isometric phase where there's no weight on the bar, but it's an infinite amount of weight because you're driving into the rack. Then after that 2 weeks, you're going to your week 5 and 6, where you're trying to add more weight than you did in the eccentric phase. So you're consistently adding weight. It could be 2.5 pounds, it could be 5, it could be 10. So by the end of this concentric phase, you should be the strongest athlete you've ever been in your entire life, because you're forcing that adaptation. You're forcing, hey, I gotta hit this with this more weight, with this more weight, this more weight. That is how you build true strength. So bottom line, since the age of time, the Russians have been bringing this progressive overload model to their Olympian athletes, for hundreds and hundreds of years. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You can't reinvent the wheel when it comes to true strength training. So all that stuff you're seeing on Instagram, YouTube, it's fine and dandy. It may look cool, but if you're trying to gain true strength, you need to add that simplicity of progressive overload. That's the only way to do it. Sure, it's boring, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, but that is the only way to build adaptation. Think of it as the same principle in the cage when you're hitting, right? You can come up with all the wacky drills you want, but truly the only way to become a better hitter is to see that in-game, that live arm, and take live at-bats, right? So the more you do that, the better you become. Same thing happens from a physiological standpoint at loading weights on your body and pushing through that stimulus. You need to keep doing it over and over again, progressively adding more weight to the bar in order to receive those strength adaptations. So if you want a program built on the foundations of progressive overload that I use with my athletes in here to build the strongest baseball and softball players in the country. I have a number of programs available for you that follows that blueprint, right? We have Elite Exit Velocity, which is building rotational power. We have Showcase Prep, which is a 14-week program you should do if you're signed up for a showcase to decrease your 60-yard dash, increase your exit velo and throwing velo, the metrics that those college coaches are looking at on that showcase day. And I have my in-season grind program to maintain all that strength during the season. You can get those in the description below. And always remember that I pump out 2 of these videos per week, so do me a favor and subscribe for me. I appreciate you. We'll catch you next week. Game rewards the grind. It knows how much you've invested.